All right, guys. Well, welcome to this first test of using a new stream machine type thing. We are here with the PMQ update for April 5th. Yep, April 5th. We are here with Alena Tikhova, owner of Dodo Pizza in Oxford and I believe South Haven?
Germantown.
Oh, it is Germantown? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple Russian pizzerias that, they came over. They love PMQ, and I think Steve Green talked them into opening up here. And now they have some really great pizza. So, but today we did want to talk about what she's doing here locally in Oxford, being in a college town, and just kind of the outreach that she's doing for other restaurants locally, too. She's a very conscious, local conscious person. So, Alena, just say hello.
Hey.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us the first adaptation you had to make, kind of when it hit home, when it was real. What was the first thing you made, and kind of go through the evolution? You got 5 minutes max on that. Go.
Okay. Well, the first thing we did, as soon as we found out that college kids are not going to coming back after spring break, we had to cut back on our business hours, because we used to stay open till like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. and depending on the day. But once they told us their college kids are not coming back, so there was no reason anymore to stay past like 9 or 10 p.m. So basically start adjusting our business hours, working only for the locals, like local families, instead of for working with the students. And it helped a lot, especially with like labor being so high. And so that was the first thing that definitely helped. Then we start working like one shift instead of doing two. And so that way we were able to maintain pretty much the same number of hours that people were getting without firing anybody, without lowering our rates. So we kept rates at the same level, and we're still giving people pretty much the same number of hours they were getting before this crisis started. And it helped because some of our employees were college students, so they didn't come back. So those people that were local and relying on our job with Dodos to pay their bills, they got all of those hours. So we didn't have to let anybody go. Basically, that was our biggest adjustment. And then again, once we start hearing something about a possibility of college kids not coming back, we started doing non-contact deliveries before any other big chains started doing it, like Domino's and Papa John's. We started doing it probably beginning of March, I would say, or maybe like second week of March. We announced that despite the fact that we're not in an emergency right now, we're still going to do non-contact delivery, non-contact carry-out. So people would just pull into the parking lot, and we put the pizza at the back of their car. So even though right now everybody's doing it, I guess, there's not a single pizza place in town that's not doing non-contact delivery carryout. Still, a lot of people in Oxford is still thinking that Dodo's is that pizza place that do non-contact delivery. So I would say just going out there and saying, hey, we're doing it, and being the first one in that really helped, because I know a lot of customers think that.
Yeah, well, and staying on top of it, putting your name out there first, but not even being first of anything, just being present, visible on social media.
Yeah.
Okay, well, continue.
Those are the two biggest ones. Then we also eliminated some items on their menu that are not going through the oven, just to eliminate any risk of infection at all. So we stopped doing cookies, although we used to bake a lot of different cookies and just a lot of different desserts. But once the crisis started, we eliminated those items just because they had to stay there, like waiting for people to actually order them. And so we don't cook them every time. So we eliminated those items just in case anything happens, it doesn't stay on any of the surfaces.
That definitely makes sense, because it's out there waiting. You could grab it, so it sounds like you definitely limited your menu too to kind of non-essentials. Making sure you have everything you need. But very smart.
Yeah, just so eliminated those items just in case anything happens. And of course, we started doing a lot of other. We've been always pretty active locally doing a lot of things. So we started restaurant employee relief center, and probably about that second week after the mayor announced emergency in Oxford, we started delivering free pizzas to everyone over 65 years old, just to support them and kind of send a message out saying, say, hey, if you're over 65 years old, you probably should not be. I'm sorry. I know you like having fun on the square, but you should probably not getting out there, and just stay home and we'll deliver your pizza for free. Just please don't get out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that makes sense, being responsible. And we are going to touch on those last two topics. We're going to expand on those because I think there's some great things. So, I mean, is it kind of the evolution right there? Is this all you've been doing so far? I mean, it's obviously working. I mean, are there any other crazy things that you've had to adjust?
I mean, of course, we had to be. We've already been pretty strict. We've been pretty strict about cleaning everything and sanitizing everything. We have a crazy checklist on the wall where we clean things every day, and so we started doing even crazier thing. If you look at it, like we would sanitize all the surfaces when we get there and do it every hour. So we don't let people in the store anymore, so we have to meet them at the parking lot. But that's pretty much what everyone is doing. But as for anything else that changed, I guess those are the major things that I just mentioned.
Well, and I mean, so you finally put in sinks and you guys are finally washing your hands. That's nice.
Yeah, we started washing our hands last week. Yeah. I mean, it was a big adjustment, but still.
It was more a suggestion at first, but I do remember when you guys first opened up, you guys were super strict on that. And literally we tried to go film there and we had to wear hazmat suits, baby booties and
right.
It was insane. And I do apologize now because maybe you were just ahead of the time, maybe from the future, but it seems that's where it's all going right now. So, but I do want to talk a little bit about the restaurant relief fund that you started. Now that's something local. I mean, kind of describe it, because it's not. And there is a pantry that you have in your shop, but that's not for like regular people. Or
we have a
why don't
big
you go ahead and
pantry.
talk to us about it.
Actually, this pantry is taking over the store. Like,
oh, really?
it's huge right now. Yeah. Well, it all started as a few weeks ago. I was reading on PMQ, I believe it was PMQ Facebook post about how big cities like Atlanta and Seattle and Washington have those restaurant employee relief funds that started by just local people that got together at some point and said, hey, well, these times are really hard on restaurant workers. Why don't we just start something where locals can support us? And I've seen a lot of things going on in Oxford, but they all looked kind of a little small. Like one restaurant would say, hey, if you want to support our employees, just go to our Facebook page and donate here and there. And it was just so many different things that I didn't even know what to do. Like every place has their own thing going on. So nobody was doing something for everybody out there. So I just decided that we started a restaurant employee relief fund that would be for everybody, like for everyone in Oxford and in the surrounding areas working at the food service industry who've been recently either laid off or whose hours have been cut significantly. Let's say you used to work 40 hours and now you're only given 15 hours. And you obviously cannot survive on 15 hours a week anywhere. And especially in Oxford area, it's getting kind of expensive. So yeah, it's basically for everybody. And it first started kind of small. So I just said, hey guys, if anybody wants to donate, they just bring food and hygiene items and baby care products. We're just going to start that pantry at our Oxford store. And the second I said that, I go to work and I see a lot of stuff on our porch. So we were like, okay, well, I guess we need to put up some new shelves. So, and stuff just started arriving and we started getting more and more and more and more and more. And now we have this whole waiting area that used to be for people coming in to wait for their pickup orders. Now it's all taken by that pantry. And then I started getting checks from people from everywhere, Florida. I guess we got a check from Atlanta, just different places. And people were saying, well, we used to go to your Oxford store all the time, and then we moved somewhere and where we just want to say thank you. It's a great thing you're doing. So now not only we have this big pantry going on, but we also can help some people pay their bills, so they can apply and they can say, hey, I really need this. This is my bill. I'm not making things up, but I really need to get it paid. And we can just give them some money that they can pay their most essential bill before they can start getting those government checks. So because God knows when they're going to start coming in. So we have a little bit of money saved up right now so we can help people pay their actual bills.
Wow. And now is that all? I'm sorry. I do apologize, guys. It's kind of wonky because I just learned this whole program 20 minutes ago. Want to make sure it's live. But so, I mean, you're talking about the bills and stuff like that for your employees?
Mm-hmm. No, for mine, for everybody around Oxford.
For everybody. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
we started the application process where people can just apply and say, hey, I used to work for that restaurant on the square and I got laid off. All my hours got cut to 10 hours a week. So, and I have this electric bill coming up and I'm just scared that they're going to do something to so I don't have power in my house anymore. So just help me.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm sorry, it was working earlier. I was trying to share the screen about, just showing the pantry. Like you said, it's kind of, at this point, taken off, you said. So, yeah, I keep messing it up. But, if you guys want to check it out, go to Dodo Pizza Oxford Facebook page, and you can see everything that they're doing. So, I mean, that's another thing that you do for your own employees. Have you had, and this is going to lead into another topic about college towns, but, I mean, have you been able to retain most of your employees at these two locations? Because there is a third one too in Mississippi, right? Or
yeah,
in Tennessee?
we haven't gone. We didn't close, and we didn't have to let anybody go. But the reason why is because the majority of our business has always been delivery and carry out, and both of those things are still allowed. So we can still do non-contact delivery, and we can still do curbside pickup. So it's actually, we've been able to maintain most of our business. And in Oxford, I was at first a little scared of the fact that we're not going to have our college kids coming back. But the fact that we've always had strong connection with the locals and have always been a strong believer that you should not fully rely on college kids, even if you're in college town, because of things like summer, because of things like spring break. You cannot 100% rely on college because you have to build relationship with local people. So now the kids are gone, but we still have local families, and they started ordering more and more often every day. So we're about to start actually hiring more drivers right now, because during dinner time, we have to call everybody in, and people don't want to get out of their houses. They want to stay inside, and they want to order food. And they trust us in terms of sanitation, and they trust us in terms of delivery time. That's not going to take 3 hours. So we are actually now seeing an increase in delivery and carry out, both.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing too, is that I've worked at places myself that they're brand new. They come to a college town. They don't expect that. I don't know what they were thinking when they opened there, but when the summer hit, the 1 year, they were there for 6 months and they closed down. Mm-hmm. How do you not prepare for that? Now, and that's the worst part, is that you have to prepare for like a regular school year. What happens when the rest of that school year is taken away? So, yeah. And I did want to encourage people here to ask questions of Alena. I'm watching the chats all over the place. Again, I am just learning this software, but I'm watching it on the webinar and on Facebook. I wanted to send a thank you to Mike Doniker of Dungeon Chat Experts for telling me about this last night. So, kind of saved my bacon. But ask your questions, because she might be doing something that you need to know. So I wanted to move on to, I mean, we can touch a little more on the college town, aspect of it a little later. But as far as like the senior delivery, I mean, what are you doing with that? And I mean, especially since they are the most at risk, how are you handling the sanitation and the management of delivering to seniors?
Well, we handle it the same way. It's been non-contact. That's the biggest concern that people have. Like, what if driver comes and I have to open the door and I have to take food from them and I have to give them cash? So we started this non-contact thing about almost a month ago now. And so all of our deliveries to seniors, those people are over 65 years old, they could have gotten a free pizza from us. Just call it in. It's a little hard to manage because it's all, they had to call in. So we couldn't just take it over the website because most of them wouldn't be even able to figure out how website works. So we had to take phone calls from them. So we limited it to the first hour of operations. So between 4 and 5 p.m., we would only take orders from the seniors.
All right, it's kind of like what the grocery stores are doing, just giving them that time so that they can get out.
We call it a senior hour. So it's between 4 and 5 p.m.
Right.
Every day. We first wanted to do it like you can call any time during the day, but it became chaos the first day because people were calling all day long, just like nonstop. Like the second we hang up the phone, there'd be a new phone call, and we couldn't just possibly handle that many deliveries. So we limited it to the first hour. So we would only take orders from the seniors for the first hour of operations. So we would do as many as we possibly could. And then after 5 p.m., we would shut it off and we'll tell them, okay, just, call tomorrow. And we wouldn't even limit them. So some people would get it almost every day. And it's fine. And we would also have people calling in and ordering it for their parents, grandparents, friends. And we would just, not actually check them, just
that was going to be another question. But I mean, to clarify, these are free.
Yeah.
Free pies for seniors.
Free.
And then I was talking with, who was it? Ali Hyder yesterday, and he was doing something very similar. And there are going to be people trying to take advantage, but you're not doing any kind of saying, well, show me the picture, or you're taking people at their word, hoping everybody's being honest.
We've been doing it for many years right now, and people always ask me the same question because we've been doing it for so many different reasons. Like something would happen, we would respond with giving away free food, and people always ask me this question: what about those taking advantage of it? And I always ask them, just because there's like maybe 1%, or like even if it's 5%, just because 5% of people would take advantage and being dishonest, it doesn't mean that I have to pressure the rest 95% of just doing it all right, And so I do assume that some people take advantage of it, but it's okay. We'll just get over it, and the rest 95% will have a pleasant experience. So we don't have to ID them or do anything like that. So we always trust the people. Just if you say you're over 65, I guess you're over 65.
Well, I'm going to stop telling the Mexican restaurants it's my birthday every week. But I did want to acknowledge Steve Green jumped on. And again, we're just testing the functionality of this, and I love it. So he wants to say, how important is your live store cam and demonstrating transparency right now? I know you guys have that online thing where they can watch their pizzas being made. Has there been an uptick in people actually watching that? Or,
yes, it's a very good question.
Ahead of the curve, but
it's a very good question. Actually, I think one of the reasons why their sales are so strong these days is because people been watching our cameras like crazy. We've had people sending me pictures on Facebook or Instagram and saying, hey, I've been literally just sitting here all day watching you guys make pizzas. And first of all, because people are so bored at the house, so they find it extremely entertaining. And second of all, because when they watch their cameras, they can see, it kind of gives them a peace of mind, because they can see how clean that kitchen is, because they can see that nobody smoking and nobody's like walking around and anything. Just everything is clean and neat. So it kind of gives them a peace of mind. And I think it's a big thing. And it's not only in the US, but also in other countries like Russia and UK, that we still keep our cameras running. So a lot of people tune in and watch their pizzas being made, and they see that it's probably the safest bet for them right now. And I think it's our transparency and live cameras are a big thing that's helping us go through this whole virus thing, because people are concerned with how their food is being prepared these days.
Right. Well, yeah, it's definitely great to have that transparency. And again, that was something that you guys had, kind of from the get-go. But maybe do you think, would you suggest for people to start incorporating in that? A lot of people we're becoming reactionaries. People who didn't have online ordering are getting it now because they need it.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that you would recommend? Does it maybe put like your staff, make them a little more accountable so they don't do stupid stuff because they know they're being watched 24 hours a day?
That's another big thing, and it actually does make you more responsible. It's not like you do think about safety and sanitation before, but now just knowing that people are actually watching, and a lot of people watching, makes you a little more responsible. So it makes you not touch certain surfaces, make sure that you wash your hands before every single pie, make sure that you wash your hands between handling vegetables and meats. It kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you, but this pressure is needed, especially in times like this. So I would strongly recommend for people to look in those solutions like this, just to give their customers a peace of mind, and also make their people who work for them just a little more responsible.
Yeah, absolutely. And I did want to thank everybody for tuning in and joining us here. Amanda Tikhova, thank you for being a faithful watcher. Hermohibo Wahabi, thank you so much for coming in. Gino Rago, All Rise. Matt Catharinci, I haven't seen you in a long time, brother. Hope you're doing well up there. Brandy from our office, Brandy Pinion, and Stephen Linda, George Taylor, Michael Wolf. Oh, the Wolf. Oh. I won't go loud, but he knows. So I do want to encourage you guys, ask these questions here, okay? There you go. So I'm having fun with this one. As you can tell, this is a really fun way to do this. So definitely wanted to kind of move into, you've always been really good about this at Dodo, is the social media response about this to just kind of stay in front of it, put a good positive message. Have you changed anything? I mean, because a lot of people are doing reactionary stuff where they're just talking about what they're doing. But I mean, are you guys just posting regular things too, or is it just mostly about the situation that we have right now? I mean, what's the importance of maybe staying regular and just doing regular posts? George Taylor was talking about that the other day, and I thought it was a great point.
I mean, yes, we do. If you're asking if I was one of those CEOs that was sending emails about how we're handling COVID-19 to all of our customers, no, we did not. But of course, we posted on social media about how we reacting, but it was mainly about the change of our operations in terms of how non-contact delivery and how non-contact carry out is better and safer for you these days. But we were not like filming ourselves washing our hands and sanitizing the surface. So that's kind of just the obvious and just responsible behavior to do. But there's one thing that I think we've changed a little bit, is that obviously we've noticed that a lot of people are concerned with their financial future, maybe even more than they're concerned with the virus and possibility of getting sick. So I've noticed that people start watching their money a little more carefully, because they start thinking, what if I'm not going to have my job in next 2 months? What if this and that happens? And then those are all big concerns that people have. And I've noticed that probably about a month ago, people start asking for deals more, just watching their money in general. So I kind of shifted the focus of our social media, because we've always been about the quality of the ingredients, the fun of the pizza, all that. We've shifted this a little bit from that to more of like deals and on ways how you can save money and big family deals. And it's just something new that we it's not like we've never done it before, but we were a little more about college kids and, hey, get our pizza late night, come over here.
Well,
yeah,
it was less deals, and you were just targeting the audience, telling them what your prices were. And now Carmelo Lamada, he comes on all of these, and I hope he's going to check out, but he's always asking about that. He's down in Fort Myers, and he says a lot of people are just coming around asking free stuff, and how do you manage that? Now it sounds like you kind of had to pivot a little bit. You didn't do deals, but now you're adding that. Do you think
we've always had deals. We've always had deals, but we've had, it's never been something that I would constantly talk about on social media, like, hi guys, this is like buy one get one free or whatever. It's never been like the most important thing that we've been doing, but now I'm starting noticing that people are concerned with money and how they're going to be surviving for the next few months. So we're shifting towards that so that we can offer people something for the family, but something that's not going to hit their budget hard.
Okay. Well, and that's the thing. And I mean, I've been talking with people, so I definitely, I'm going to interject some of my thoughts too. But I mean, if you're having problems with deals, do something. You don't want to give stuff away for free, but I mean, let's just take it back, not giving Subway a commercial, but the Subway cards.
Yeah.
Or even the book it from Pizza Hut way back in the day where you had to read a book. But I mean, you get some stamps, you buy 5, you get the 6th free.
Yeah.
Ali was even talking about that yesterday too. He's like, because he was doing the pizza kits where he gives scarves to the kids.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I need another scarf. He's like, you got to buy another 5 to get, I mean, is there something to do with like kind of, you're also building your brand in this and you're going to get new customers. You want to keep them. Is there something to be said for doing instead of doing like deep discounts, maybe starting some kind of loyalty program? And maybe not make it as hard. You don't have to buy 20 pizzas to get that free one. You don't have to spend $300, but start it small, and then after this ends, maybe growing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think now is a great time for us. We do have a reward program in other countries, but we've never had it in the United States because we still don't have our app running, and it's kind of connected to our.
Real quick, I'm sorry to interrupt. Although I've been told I do it quite a bit, but I mean other countries. So Dodo Pizza is from Russia. How many units and how many countries are you guys in?
Oh, right now, I think about 12 or 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
So 12 to 13, countries or units? Come on.
No, units. No, 12 countries. Units about 580. Okay. Some of them are closed right now because they were just mainly dining and not delivery. But I would say about 550 must be open.
Okay, so you're all over the world. You're global, basically, and you do have loyalty programs in some of the other countries.
Yes,
currently not here, but you're actively working on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think now is the great time for us to start because I mean it's very bad, but fortunately for us, a lot of places are closed, and we see that the same people that used to maybe order from us and they would order from some other place, and just kind of mixing it up. Now I see that the frequency of their orders have increased significantly. So we basically see the same people ordering every day or every other day. And they ask about, if they didn't ask in the past, about how they can start collecting points and how they can start earning something. Now I get more and more phone calls and questions about, okay, so how do I start this? Because if I can find a way of buying you guys regularly and still saving a little bit, or I was even thinking about membership. Like it's getting to the point where people ask us, what if I just want to get pizza? I want to get your pizza 5 times a week. Can I get some kind of a membership where I can pay like $300 a month and I can just not worry about what I order? I mean, if you think about it, it's a great idea. It's like a pizza membership, like you used to have gym membership. Forget about it. Now it's even better. It's a pizza membership. So you can use it like, let's say 3 or 4 times a week, and you can get whatever you want, and you always know that you under $200 or $250. That's not bad at all. So I'm thinking we're going to start doing something like that in the nearest future. Maybe.
Okay, great. Well, awesome. And I'm just sorry that we're getting a lot of interactivity here, which is awesome. Donica, I see you. Thanks again so much for suggesting this. This is I'm having way too much fun playing with this production. It's only going to get better, guys. But George Taylor jumped in and we talked to him. What was it, 2 days ago? He had a lot of good ideas too. But he says that they put a chef stamp on their box. Collect 10, get a free large cheese pizza. I mean, the Pizza X did that too. Was the schools, they would collect a little corner of the pizza box and turn them in, get rewards. And he also says you just have to. He has a question, George Taylor. Is how have you adjusted your hours since this began? And then, Mike, I'm going to get to yours next. But how have you adjusted your hours?
We cut off the super late night hours.
Okay.
Because those super late night hours were for after bars traffic. Yeah. So we would make some money after bars are closed and kids are walking from the square towards their campus. So we would catch on this 3 or 4 hours of super late drunk college kids, and it was great. Don't get me wrong, it was great.
That is a really good market. I'll give it that.
But it was not, yeah. But it's not there anymore, so it makes no sense. You have to deliver to the locals.
Well, here in Oxford and in Mississippi, it's super northern Mississippi. It's an hour south of Memphis, Tennessee. What are their restaurant mandates? What are the rules that they've been telling you to follow as far as like curfew and stuff like that?
Well, nothing crazy so far. It's just that you have to do curbside pickup. Can't let people in anymore. And they didn't even say anything about non-contact delivery. Just delivery business is fine. But we are doing non-contact. So just for the safety of our own drivers. Honestly.
There hasn't been any crazy mandates yet from the government. But you're, again, getting ahead of the curve, as most people are. That's what I'm liking to see, is a lot of the proactiveness as of late. So
also starting, I think it's a great market. If you didn't see it on Facebook page, but I posted about a couple of days ago asking people if they would be interested in getting like a grocery basket from us. Like I would just get them from our supplier, US Foods, and grocery basket, I mean like just meats and vegetables, fruits, maybe milk, some basic stuff, and we'll just put it in one Dodo box and they can order it on delivery. So let's say they can get a pizza from us, but they can also get a small grocery bag that would, like grocery bags that would include just what I said, like meats or vegetables and stuff, so that they don't have to get out of the house tomorrow or for the next few days, and they can just cook something else. And you can see the responses, but people will be like, please, yes, because you can't get Walmart or Kroger pickup anymore. You have to wait for like 7 days before you get something. So we next week we're gonna start delivering meats and vegetables, and with a little bit of a markup and with some delivery fee. But since it's be going out together with our regular pizza orders, it should not hurt our costs that much.
Okay. Well, I mean, are you? Yeah, that's a lot to take on. That's, I mean, as far as like delivering, now you're delivering groceries. What limited
it's gonna
groceries?
be just basic items. But we basically on our website, what you'll see all the pizzas and everything else, and at the very bottom you would just see the grocery bag with the food, and we would just also have another grocery bag with box, not a bag in the bag, box with just the hygiene items. So you don't have to get out of the house, and we'll just assemble them ahead of time. And that's it. All the drivers need to do, they would just have to grab it and deliver it. That's all. All
right. Well, I am seeing the functionality here, guys. The thumbs up. Thank you, Matthew Blake, and Mike Donaker. And now I want to get to his. It's not necessarily a question. I interviewed Mike a couple of days ago. Unfortunately, we couldn't go live, but we did post it. He works was the owner of a Dunja Chat Experts, and they do a lot of stuff through Messenger. And he gave us a lot of good free tips about how to stay relevant and prevalent and top of mind on social media. But he wants to say, love it, George. All right, so he's saying that the deal should drive them for that first purchase, and if you're giving them a deal, again, get your data in return, gain their data. So you want to make sure you're getting their information. Now you have ways to market to them over and over, and you don't need to always get that deal. So with Messenger, they're able to do that, and punch cards are great, but take them digitally. So you can reach out to him. He can kind of walk you through the process, I think. But I mean, again, in the contactless world that we're becoming, we were already kind of moving towards that with digital. Everybody's on their phones and there's little social interaction. This just kind of, now everybody wants to be social. But now we have to, stay away. So, do everything digitally that you can. Anything like that. I did have a note from when we talked earlier. I do thank you again for being our first Guinea pig on this new platform. I've been having a lot of fun here.
It's actually Guinea, but that's fine.
Guinea pig. Oh, I did pronounce that incorrect. Okay. There was a note, something Russian brides, 2 exclamation points. What's that?
That's for Gino. It says specifically for
Gino Rago?
That's specifically for him.
Gino Rago.
At the end.
Okay.
I said at the end of this interview, I'll finally reveal how you can get yourself a Russian male bride.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it because that would be racist for me.
But you did say it, so it's okay.
I did, because it wasn't going to get brought up if I didn't.
Yeah.
All right, so it's been a lot of great information. I'm sure there's a lot of other things we could talk about what you're doing, but I wanted to on the back end here just kind of get your final best tip for anybody in a college market, because I've moved from West Lafayette to Bloomington down here to Oxford, all three college towns, so I know that the struggle is real, especially in something like this where they close the school and you don't get that resurgence of the population. This town doubles in size once the college kids come back. So what's your best tip for anybody out there having problems in a college town right now?
I would say two things. Number one is, regardless what you do and how great your sales are during the school year, you have to build a relationship with the locals. And there are a lot of locals in any college town. And everybody thinks of Oxford as a college town, but we have a lot of great families that live here, big families with a lot of kids. So just find something that your locals would love. For example, for us, I found something that local people would like. Maybe college kids don't appreciate that much, but local people, like, we have a lot of healthy options, a lot of vegan options, vegetarian options, gluten-free, all of those different varieties that are people with a lot of different allergies, with a lot of different food preferences appreciate those choices. And big chains don't necessarily have those. Mm-hmm. So when it comes to getting something a little healthier or something a little different, people look at it, start thinking about Dodos. And so that's number one. Just try to, no matter what you do, try to find something that local people and not college kids would appreciate. And then another thing is, I know it's maybe a little even off the subject, but try to, when you sign your lease agreement, try to talk to your landlord right away and somehow maybe connect your rent payment to depending on the season, so that in the summertime you pay a little bit less, or if you can do it like by 50% less or 70% less, good for you. Because at first you don't think about it and you think it's always going to be great, but then come June or July and you start thinking how you're going to pay your rent. So just talk to your landlord. If he's in a college town, he knows exactly what you're talking about. And most of them, you would be surprised, but most of them would say, yeah, that's fine. Let's just sign it this way. So for this 4 months a year, also during Christmas time and in the summertime and during spring break, your rent goes down by 50%.
Yeah.
So that would help a lot.
Yeah, and I talked with Bradley Corbin of Sloopy's Sports Cafe up in Lakeside, Ohio, and he had similar information. Talk with your landlord and make it seasonal. Adjust your rates up and down. But I really like the idea about you got to get out there and approach the local people, not the students, because they're going to be the guys who support you when the students are gone. So
that's what they're doing. That's what they're doing right now. And that's the reason why we still open, because locals buy from us, not just students. Yeah.
Well, and I did see Steve, and again, thanks for all the great interaction, guys. This is actually making this so much easier. So, but he has another question here. I'm going to throw it up there. Wait, what does it say, Mike Doniker? Oh, sorry, Mike. Oh, because he just he chopped in. Oh, John Arena, nice.
Yeah.
Hello, John.
Hey, John.
We have to credit him with Dodo's dough recipe.
With a lot of other, not just dough recipe, with a lot of other. True. With me maintaining my sanity.
He's a class act, and now that I got this figured out, I was going to call you, John, because I didn't want to do something that was not going to go live. But John has agreed to do one of these PMQ live updates with us, so I'm super excited. This is one of the most giving men in this actual industry. I'm going to cry, so I'm going to move on. I'm a little verklempt. But Steve Green wants to know, do you know where to get protective sanitary bags to protect pizza boxes? So are you talking about putting a pizza box in a bag, pizza in the box, and the box in the bag? I mean, that's a good question. I mean, it's another level of protection.
We sanitize the outside of the box every morning, just the outside of the box. And
of the cardboard box?
Yeah, the cardboard box, the outside.
How do you sanitize the outside of a cardboard box?
It doesn't have to be wet for it to be sanitized completely. Okay. So we just sanitize the top, not the inside, of course, just the outside. And the inside stays in the bag before we pull it out. And then whoever is handling the pizza is always wearing gloves
Mm-hmm.
and changes the gloves between different boxes. But where to get bags to protect pizza boxes, I don't really know. We've never looked into it.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go, Steve. You put her on the spot. Hey, there's Carmelo Lamata. He says, hello, everybody. Hello, Carmelo. We're trying to get back on track because I know you always have a lot of questions. It's usually the same question, but I like how you're asking different people in different areas. So, stay safe. Hope you're doing well in your business down there. But, I want to thank everybody else here for joining us and the interactivity. This is going to be a whole lot easier for everybody to get some questions asked out there. You gave us a lot of great tips today, Alena. Is there a way that people are you open to other people kind of calling you, or not calling you, but like contacting you and
absolutely.
How do they reach you?
I even posted it on my Facebook page. So if any of my pizza friends are thinking about moving from like dine-in to just strictly delivery and carry out, or just thinking how to boost their delivery sales, they can always reach out to me. And some people already have. Just through my Facebook.
Where do they get you at? Just the Facebook?
Oh, just my personal Facebook page. They can just send me a message and say, hey, what do I do about this? How do I handle deliveries? It's because that's not an easy business, but I think it's the way to save your business these days, is start doing deliveries.
Well, and that's a good point, too. A lot of people who weren't doing it. Now, again, this is forcing a lot of people to do stuff they weren't doing. And I do hope that once you find these things work, you keep them after the fact. It's not just a Band-Aid. Just, it's just another revenue stream for you guys. You got 1 minute, guys. Last final questions. Anybody? Let's fast pace right there. So tell me a little more about these Russian brides.
I thought it was going to be off camera after.
No, I don't need a Russian bride. I'm asking for Gino.
He's married.
I know. Yeah. All right, guys. I was just stalling to let you guys get some extra questions in there. But, this post is going to be up there. So if you have more questions, I do check them daily. And, I can put you in touch with whoever we're interviewing. I did want to say that tomorrow actually, I have to pull this up and kind of tease my whole new schedule. But tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, we're going to be talking with Donatella Arpaia, Food Network personality, Iron Chef judge. Apparently, she's judged most Iron Chefs. She's the owner of Prova Pizza Bar up in New York at Grand Central Terminal and Times Square. Now, she's been hit by this, especially hard, too, since New York is the epicenter. So tune in tomorrow. She's going to tell you about how she's been dealing with that in her locations, and also what you can do to stay sane and actually keep your kids sane. Because now she's stuck at home with her 3 children. I don't want to say stuck at home. That's a terrible term. But, now she has to be at home with her 3 children. And, when kids get stuck inside, that's where it gets nuts. So what do you do to keep your kids entertained? So she's going to talk about that. Her, some of the things she's had to do up in New York as far as like adjusting to the whole situation. But let me see. No more questions. Oh, here comes John Arena. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, John. You're the inspiration right here. I wouldn't have my dough if it wasn't for you. Secret.
Us too.
I know the dough that we use at PMQ, the dough I use every day, it's John Arena's recipe. And I said, are you scared about? A lot of people are pretty protective of their recipes, and he's like, no, I'm pretty sure I stole this from somebody else. So when somebody asks me for a dough recipe, I always give them John's dough. So thank you so much, John, and I can't wait. I'm going to get in touch with you, and we'll talk about what you're doing out there in Vegas. I mean, that's a new location. I haven't talked to anybody in that area except for Mike Donaker, who's from Henderson, but. I want to see what everybody's doing in the different regions with the different models and stuff like that. So, and say hello to Chris Decker as well, too, because you guys are putting up some great, of course, you always put up some great looking pizzas. So, again, stalling a little bit and praising one of my idols, but no more questions. So we're going to end this for today. You can always watch it here on PMQ Facebook page. And you can add questions to that. And if you need to get in touch with somebody, I will put you in touch with them. But, until then, stay safe, stay sane. If you need to talk with Alena, you can get in touch with her through her Facebook page, Dodo's Pizza. One more, just final affirmation of the day, something positive. Go. You.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I was about to go fishing, actually. Well, fishing is good.
Fishing is good.
Fishing is good for you.
It's calming. So, all right. Well, Mike Donaker says he's getting some Metro tonight, so you keep an eye out for him, John. And Carmelo Lamata, yeah, he wants to know, can I post John Arena's recipe? I'll put it up there because it's a great recipe that you can do at home. I do it in a 2-pound batch.
That's the best recipe
in my KitchenAid. So I'll put that up there. I'll try to follow that up immediately. So
all right.
Actually, you know what? I did a video of it the other day. It's actually on my Facebook, so I'll refresh that. So thank you so much, Alena.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you guys next time tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Bye.
Bye.